The Dougie and Deb podcast is in association with Ben Coffee Co. Burbage, your local specialty coffee roaster and supplier. Register for your free sample at bencoffeeco.co.uk.
Hi everybody and welcome to this very special edition of the Dougie and Deb podcast. Coming up on today's show, it's a best of kind of show where we look back on some of our favourite celebrity stories from season 1.
And what a season it was as well. We also introduce you to our brand new competition with a chance to win our huge prize bundle. Exciting!
It sounds good. Plus the gifts just keep on coming as we play you a little clip from our first interview from season 2 with a former Britain's Got Talent winner.
Woohoo!
All that is coming up in the next 45 minutes of this podcast. Get the snacks ready, put the kettle on, put your feet up. Why not? It's going to be a great show. Hi everybody in podcast land and welcome to this best of edition of the Dougie and Deb podcast. As always, I am joined by my glamour assistant Deb. Hello Deb.
Hello Deb.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Who'd have thought we would be here all these months later
I know.
doing a best of show?
I know, exciting.
Who would have thought anyone would ever listen to the show in the first place? I'm still shocked. But it has been a wild ride. Season 1 has been so well received.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this and you've listened to the season so far, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Now, what we're going to do in this episode is we thought we would bring you some little clips of some of our best bits of the season so far.
Yes.
Because we've had some unbelievably big interviews.
Yeah.
Which we never expected, did we?
No, absolutely not. I think of it as a pick and mix bag of sweets.
Little mix.
A little mix.
We haven't had Little Mix on.
No.
Full disclosure, we've never had, sadly. We've never had them on.
Never know.
Maybe. So this all started as a way of staving off a bit of boredom during lockdown.
It did.
We've got all the equipment. We get on really well. We had a bit of a giggle. We thought, why not? Let's put something together. So the initial plan was to kind of wing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big celebrity ones, they can call upon Robbie Williams and Gary Barlow and people like that. We don't have that.
No.
But one name stood out in my phone book.
Yep.
And that was Jimmy from 90s boy band 911.
I know. Unbelievable.
So I thought, well, what if I just drop him a little message? We haven't spoken in a couple of years. And I thought maybe I'll just drop him a little message and see what he says.
Yeah.
And he graciously messaged back and said, I'd love to do it. Let me know.
So nice.
And he really was lovely.
He was.
And we did the interview and it was brilliant. And then suddenly we thought, we better be a bit more professional now. We've got an actual superstar on the podcast.
That's true.
What are we going to do?
No pressure.
Oh my God. And then where'd you go from there?
I know.
So thank God we had that and it was so well received that more and more people came on board. But do you remember the best part of his interview?
I do.
It was an amazing interview, but he will let one bit of information slip that we were shocked at.
Yes.
And the beauty is, with our podcast, people underestimate it because they think we're just a couple of numpties. And they're right. They are right. We are. But what they do is they kind of let their guard down a little bit.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't do for Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
Or people like that. For us, because they think we're numpties, they let their guard down and they tell these amazing stories that they maybe wouldn't tell the mainstream media.
No, that's it.
And this was one of them.
So one of those moments was when Jimmy told us about a song which was originally penned for 911, which went over to another band, very well-known band. And here is the moment he told us.
And a funny story later on in years was that we'd already done, I think, our third album, I think it was, the second or third album. And John wrote another song called When the Lights Go Out.
Oh, wow.
And that was meant to be 911's second kind of big hit, if you like. Or not big hit, but second follow-up to Body Shaking.
Right, yeah.
And unbeknownst to us, our record company turned it down, and obviously Five took it then.
Yeah.
Oh.
So obviously...
That's
We're-
just changed my head. I was thinking.
So now, whenever you hear that, and it's quite a big hit for them,
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, when we've been on the Boys Are Back tour with Five, they know the story as well. So
Wow.
they keep winding us up about it. So yeah,
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that dressing room.
I know.
That's awkward. But that wasn't the worst one.
No.
That wasn't. I mean, that was a monster hit. Baby, when the lads go out. Yeah, I mean, it was a massive hit for Five, which could have been a massive hit for 911. But it wasn't the biggest song that 911 missed out on.
No, it wasn't.
Do you remember what it was?
It was a whopper.
Should we remind everyone?
Yes.
I can tell you another one if you like. Another song. Yeah. "Say You Be There" by the Spice Girls.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only a little song. That didn't do very well, did it?
Oh my God.
Oh.
That was written by a guy called Elliot Kennedy. And we spent 6 months in Elliot's house while we were doing the first album. Yeah. And Spice Girls had just been put together. Obviously, we were on the same record label, Virgin, with Spice Girls. Wow. So Elliot was doing songs for them as well. And then we had "Say You'll Be There," and we were like, we demoed it. And again, I'm not sure the record company turned it down. I think they did one of their sneaky ones of going, "Nah, we don't really like it," because they already thought we'll have that for the Spice Girls. So that was another one.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow, it still hurts me now. I'm not even in the band. No, that hurts me.
Can you imagine what that would sound like if there was to release that as well? It'd be so different.
So weird, yeah.
So different. So that song has actually sold just under 1 million copies to date. Wow. And went to number 1.
That was their second number 1, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy, if you're listening. That probably upset him a little bit. He's a lovely guy.
Oh,
but Jimmy was the man that started it all off. There was no question that without his text back and his gracious attitude towards being part of the podcast, when we had no listeners at that point, like we were starting from ground zero. Mm-hmm. So stories like that absolutely helped to make it. If you haven't listened to that, that is episode 1. And remember, you can go back. It's all free. Podcasts are absolutely free on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, you name it, Spotify. You can Google us, the Dougie and Deb podcast, and it's all there. The whole of season 1, absolutely free.
We want it. We need it. It's Dougie and Deb's podcast. So precious.
Thank you, Gollum. Despite looks, is actually not related to Deb. Shockingly, I thought they were.
You're so cheeky.
Uncanny. Okay, so this brings us now nicely to episode 2 of season 1. Not the link to Gollum, sorry, but and our interview with the legendary Dave Hemmingway. Now you'll know this guy from the voice of the Beautiful South and the House Martins back in the day. He's now part of a brand new band called the Sunbirds, who have an album out and are hoping to tour post-COVID. Meantime, we asked Dave what his highlights of his career were, an extensive career at that, and he came back with 3.
He did.
Bit greedy, but when you've had the career he's had, he's entitled to that. And these were the 3 things he came up with.
When I first got to go on Top of the Pops, because I'd grown up as a kid watching it, and to actually think I'd ever be on there was obviously a pipe dream, and that happened. So that was a pinch yourself moment for a start. Then lucky enough to get a number 1 single, which again is another dream when you're growing up and in bands and that. And finally the other one, gig wise, was playing Glastonbury second onto REM.
Wow.
On the main stage. So this one was just going down, and I thought, well, it can't really get any better than this, really. So I've been very fortunate to have some great high points, and I never forget that.
An incredible career and an incredible interview. That's episode 2 if you're going to go back and have a listen. And episode 3 was every bit as big as we took you back to the 90s and one of Deborah's biggest heartthrobs.
Oh, he really, really was. So in episode 3, we were really, really lucky to speak to Ritchie Neville from 90s boy band Five.
Legends.
Now, he was definitely one of my heartthrobs. Posters on my wall, massive fan.
Nice.
So one of my favourite moments from this interview was when he spoke about someone who you wouldn't assume would audition for the boy band Five.
I'll tell you what, actually, there's a random
little known fact. It didn't get to the 14, actually, down to the 14, but Russell Brand auditioned for 5. So he never saw him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can you imagine that? I often see him, he does these videos, and he's actually a very intelligent bloke, but he's had his troubles. And I always think, because we were not an odd set of characters, we were very different characters.
Yeah.
We would never, I don't think we would ever have been sort of friends, the 5 of us, if that makes sense.
No,
we
I get
never
that.
chosen each other, but we had to get along, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we had Russell Brand into that mix, and God only knows what would have happened.
Wow. I mean, that was an unbelievable story in a fascinating interview. The guy has led a life before most of us even left school, really. An incredible man, has had his troubles, and he was so honest about mental health and all of those kind of things. And that's episode 3, and I highly recommend that one, Ritchie from 5. In fact, the one thing I will say about all of the interviews is everyone was so honest, lovely, friendly, but so honest with their stories and stuff. And this next one was no exception, as we interviewed the legendary Scouse comedian Miss Chrissy Rock, an amazing lady.
Oh, really, really is.
So funny. And it was the only interview I can remember. We always get probably 15, 20 minutes before each interview.
Yeah.
It was a solid 45 minutes to an hour of just laughing.
Yeah.
Telling us about her new book, things that didn't even make the podcast.
No.
We could have made 3 podcasts.
Oh, 100%.
Amazing. And we got an invite to go out for a bit of food with her.
Yes.
When COVID released. Lovely, lovely lady.
And in this short clip, Chrissy tells us how she got the part in the iconic TV show Benidorm.
Well, I was quite lucky because I was living in Cain, and I was on the club that became Neptune's, which is Morgan's Tavern. And when I come off, this man, 2 men and a woman come up and said, my name's Darren Litton and I'm writing this thing and I've watched you for a couple of nights. I think you're amazing. And we're looking for this manageress to run this pub hotel. Would you be here? So I never really auditioned.
Oh my!
And so I was just made up,
And proof there, if ever there was any, that just working hard will get you in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That was very much like that. She was an amazing person to interview, a lovely, lovely lady. And that was episode 4 of season 1.
It was.
And in episode 5 was one of our favourite interviews. I'm not sure I've ever laughed as much ever in my entire life, as we interviewed Big Brother and X Factor star Stevi Richie. It helped really that he was an Essex boy like me.
Yes.
I think we had a lot in common. We spoke about wrestling, and behind the scenes he was very, very candid about his relationship with Simon Cowell and what it's like being on a TV show. But one story stood out amongst them all.
It did. So we spoke to Stevie and he told us who he went to the Harvester with during his time on the X Factor.
Okay, so what it was a bit of a laugh and a joke, first of all, because he was trying to set me up with some of the dancers on the show, and the presenter, which was Sarah Jane Crawford at the time on ITV2, you probably know. Yeah. And it was all a bit of a laugh and joke. And then the producer, one of the producers, runners, come up to me during the rehearsal, and he said, "You know what you're doing tonight, don't you?" And I went, "No, what?" He went, "You're going to dinner with Simon Cowell in the Harvester." I went, "Cough." I said, "You're winding me up now, aren't you?" And they said, "No, we're not winding you up. It's true." I thought, "Yeah, all right." Anyway, he strike me down. They said, "Right, get ready. You're going to go to Harvester and we're going to film you and Simon talking, and you're going to have a laugh." I was like, and I remember it very well because they chauffeur driven me to this Harvester in Ealing Broadway, I think it was, somewhere like that. And I was so nervous. It felt like a date, honestly. I had a pint of Dutch courage just outside what the bouncer gave to me in the car. And I was like, "No, I need this." Because my heart was pounding. I thought, "Man, this is crazy," because I've never, ever done this with Simon Cowell having dinner. So we walked in together, and I kid you not, right, the people's fucking faces when we walked through that door, they all stopped. They've stopped putting food in the mouth. It was just almost like that kind of shocked moment. And And people were just staring, and they couldn't believe that I walked in with, obviously I'm fresh on the X Factor, and Simon Cowell is just like one of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah.
And then, of course, people were just staring. And I just remember walking out of that door. Everyone wanted about 1 million photos of Simon. About 2 wanted one with me. So I was like, oh, take my limelight, Simon. Cheers.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it. Hello, everybody. It is I, King Julien. That's me. That is who I am. Anyway, after a long weekend of partying, I like to sit down and listen to Dougie and Deb's podcast. It is #1 in the whole of Madagascar. I wouldn't lie to you. It really, really is. Anyway, keep on partying. See you later, crocodile. You like to move it, move it. 3, 2, 1.
So episode 7 was a really, really big one for us because it was the first time we'd interviewed an actual winner of one of these shows.
Yes, exactly.
Hugely successful people, but to actually win a TV show is a really, really big deal. And we were lucky enough to be graced by Michael from Britain's Got Talent winners Calabro.
Yes, and what a gentleman he was.
Unbelievable. A lovely, lovely man.
And this is a moment when Michael thought the band could be something very special and could even go on to win the show.
Then someone suggested, we still argue to this day on who suggested Singing Stars. I think everyone else would say it was them. I quite happily hold my hands up and say it wasn't me. But someone suggested Stars. So we literally tried it. And I remember going, okay, this is what we need to do. And we just found this new momentum that seemed to lift. And then we all just, from then on, we just all felt so in harmony and sync. And it was just really great. And then obviously we sang that in our first audition and then again in the final because Simon literally pushed for it. He said, I need you to sing that song again in the final. And we thought, oh, is he giving us a clue?
And what a clue it was. Obviously, they went on to win the show with that song Stars as well.
They did.
#1 album for that. And those guys are on tour in September as well. So go and check them out at Calabro. Michael, an amazing young man. Right, okay. Now, the next one, the final one of Series 1 was episode 8 with one of your heroes.
One of my heroes indeed, Kerry Ellis.
Amazing lady.
West End and Broadway star. A huge, huge fan. She's just phenomenal.
And you guys would know her. She was in loads of things. We Will Rock You, among many other things. But the thing she's probably most famous for is playing Elphaba in Wicked.
Absolutely.
And we both love that one.
100%. It's my favourite musical by far.
It's incredible. We were so grateful to have her end the series with us, episode 8, of course. You can go back and catch up. As we've said, all the series so far, the whole of Series 1 is available on Spotify, Amazon Music,
Apple,
you name it.
Spotify, yeah.
Just Google the Dougie and Deb podcast. It's all there for you. And this was an epic interview. And this story in particular was the moment where she took over from the legendary Idina Menzel for the first time halfway through a show.
Well, I think for Idina, it was going to be. It happened earlier than we thought it was going to happen. So because I was a standby, I went on about a month in, maybe a month and a half in. And I went on literally at that moment before Gravity. She was poorly, understandably, with that show. And after Wizard and I got the message that Idina's not feeling great. Can you start greening up? So you might not go on, but
Through the show.
Yeah. So this is after she's done Wizard and I got the message she might go off. We don't know, but start greening up. So I go and people are like chucking green stuff at my face. And then after I'm Not That Girl, they're like, you're definitely going on. So it's getting a bit more hectic. Everybody's like grabbing stuff and starting to change things over. And then literally there's a moment where Gravity starts and the two witches run off for like 10 seconds and then they run on again. So Idina ran off and I ran on and did Gravity. So in a way it was a blessing because I didn't have time to think about it and to, think about the gravitas of the moment, if you like. Yeah. But it was also a double-edged sword because I wanted my first time to do the show to be the first time, when people were expecting. But it did give me that kind of preview, if you like. It got me got me those few shows to have a go at it before the press were coming in. So it was good, and it was it was a bit crazy. I mean, I got the adrenaline that night because I'd not done it before, and I was just thrown in. But it was good.
And another amazing story from a legendary person. Thank you so much to each and every person who has taken part in interviews for the Dougie and Deb podcast so far, and season 2 will be no exception.
No.
It's going to be some amazing interviews coming up in season 2. But it remains for us to just thank a few people before we move on. All the people that we've interviewed that have given up their time to chat to us numpties. It's nice. And I'm speaking for myself there, I know, but it's fine. Right, so let's kick it off. Firstly, if it wasn't for him, there would be no podcast, really. And that is Jimmy from 90s boy band 911.
Yes, thank you very much. Also, thank you to Dave Hemmingway from the beautiful South, and also the Sunbirds.
Absolutely brilliant. Go and check them out as well, please. I like the way that you applauded when I said that. You gave everyone like a little clap and no one heard it. Quite pathetic, but funny. Then one of our heroes, Ritchie Neville from 5. Thank you, mate.
Yes. Also, Chrissy Rock from Benidorm.
She's like my showbiz mum now. I love her. Also, Stevi Richie, fellow Essex boy and brother. There you go, Stevi Richie. A massive thank you to you, my friend.
Also from Collective Agents, Simon Mayhew. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sending the people our way that you do. Also, we just heard from him, Michael from Calabro.
And last but certainly not least, Kerry Ellis, superstar, musical inspiration.
Unbelievable. So stick around. We've got loads more coming up in the podcast. We're going to unleash our competition and prize bundle for you to win. And that's coming up after this very short break. And not only that, we will be releasing a little bit of information about season 2.
Yeah.
And an opening interview with a Britain's Got Talent winner.
Hello, how are you?
Hello everyone, it's me, Mr. Tumble, and you're listening to the Dougie and Deb podcast. Hooray! You sign, hooray. Good!
Let's have fun with friends. We're all friends.
So it's very exciting times now on the Dougie and Deb podcast as we announce our brand new competition.
Woohoo!
Not only is it brand new competition, everybody, but we've got a huge prize bundle. Money can't buy. Money may not want to buy.
No.
Some of it's good.
Yeah.
The rest of it's out.
Yeah.
We'll tell you more about the prize in a minute, but the game is really simple. You're about to hear 3 celebrity voices, but can you name them? It's as simple as peas.
Oh, how are peas simple?
Not sure. As simple as Deb.
Oh, peas.
That's more like it. Right, okay, so I'm going to play it now for you. 3 celebrity voices, and you have to name them. So this is it.
Love the podcast.
So 3 very famous voices, maybe not as famous as mine. Definitely more famous than mine. 3 very famous voices, but can you name them? Now, as always, there's lots of ways you can get in touch. Deborah, how can they get in touch?
Please do get in touch with us. So we're available on all the socials. That's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, the Dougie and Deb podcast, or you can email us at the Dougie and Deb podcast @gmail.com.
So you're pretty much working as a team here. It's when the first person gets all 3, nothing for 1, nothing for 2.
No.
It's when you get all 3. So the best thing to do is share the podcast. Share it, play it to as many people as you can, get people involved and see if you can win. We'll play it again for you one more time. Here it is.
Love the podcast.
So remember, share this podcast with as many people as you can. Get involved. Get loads of people involved. The more people that hear it, the more chance you've got of winning.
Exactly. Please do.
Absolutely. It's a great competition. 3 very famous voices. Get in touch in the ways that young Deb told you about. So, prizes, you say?
Yes.
Prizes. The prizes that we've got, it's a big bag bundle.
Woohoo.
It's not easy to say, is it?
No.
Money can't buy. You can't buy these things in the shop.
Nope.
These are one-offs. I'm holding in my hand, sent from the boys themselves of Calabro, road to the Royal Albert Hall, signed and everything from the boys. That's Money Can't Buy. You just can't get that anywhere else.
It's a signed album,
It's
one.
unbelievable. On top of that, we've got a little goodie bag of our own that we've chucked in. Now, in this is lots of Dougie and Deb merchandise. It's a goodie bag, a mug, a pen, an umbrella, a face mask, because you can never do without a face mask.
No.
So you're going to need one of those. And also, we're giving away for the first time the Dougie and Deb experience.
Oh, yes, we are.
So when COVID has released a little bit, obviously we'll give you the options. You will be able to come into the studio, have a little bit of a glass of something with us, maybe a takeaway, a few snacks, and get you on the podcast with us. Yes. Again, it's a money can't buy prize for you and a friend. We'll do two, shall we?
Yeah.
That's only fair. Definitely. For you and a friend to come down to the studio, spend a day with us on the couch, couple of hours, glass of something lovely and a bit of food and a chat with us.
Yes, sounds perfect.
So all of that is your prize bundle. I'll tell you what we'll do, because we're in a good mood. We'll play it for you one more time. Remember, 3 celebrity voices. You need all 3 to win. You know where we live. And this is it.
Love the podcast.
Right, there you go then. That is your last chance. But, of course, you can rewind as normal.
Yeah.
We will, however, be going through the wrong answers every week. So stay tuned every Wednesday to see if you get a shout-out. And obviously, you can mark off all the wrong answers then.
Yeah, it'll be a lot easier.
People have a long list
yes.
of who it isn't. And obviously, we'll tell you when someone's got one right. So hopefully, you'll get it. Or maybe not. Maybe people won't want to win it. Who wants to spend a day with us? I don't want to spend a day with you.
Money can't buy.
Money can't buy. It's a great prize. Get involved, guys, and good luck.
Marilou, y'all get on in here now. It's Dougie and Deb on the podcast. Now I mean it. Get in here, or I'll get the hose.
We got a hose?
So, as lovely as it is looking back on season 1, and it really has been.
It really, really has.
It's been lovely. It is now time to have a little glimpse into the future as we reveal what season 2 has in store. Now, we can reveal that the first interview of season 2 is with the Britain's Got Talent winner.
Yes, indeed.
And not just an average one.
Nope.
Oh, no. A Scottish superstar. This guy has gone on to headline the Royal Variety Performance and shows all over the world. His name is Jai McDowell, an amazing man.
Yeah.
Fascinating. He talks about what it was like being on the Royal Variety Performance, what it's like winning a show like that, and a very, very famous spat with Simon Cowell.
Yes.
And in this exclusive clip, Jai tells us what it's like backstage on Britain's Got Talent, working with the vocal coaches and some of the things they make them do.
I remember speaking to the vocal coach on the show. It was a wonderful woman, originally from New Zealand, called Anne-Marie Speed, and she spoke to me afterwards, because I wasn't that confident at the time, and like myself and my abilities, and she said, look, you got to where you are, like, because you done what you needed to do, and you weren't difficult to deal with, and you said yes to everything. Like she said, like, her personally, she was like, I was asking you to do some really random stuff, like during a singing lesson that you'd never done before, but you just, like, for instance, one of the things she got me to do was sing the whole of Bring Me to Life with my tongue out my mouth.
Brilliant.
Oh, right.
And so I was like, what? So what are you telling me?
Now we need to hear a chorus of that now. You know that, don't you?
It's not pretty.
No. So there you go then. Just a small little clip of an amazing interview with a fascinating man.
Yes, indeed.
It was brilliant. That is coming up on the 7th of April.
Yes.
I'm getting the look.
Next week.
Is that right?
It is right.
Now, the usual things apply. We're making some changes. Season 1 was so successful. We want to keep it fresh for you. So season 2 will be no different. We've got amazing interviews every week.
Yep.
We have also got the competition that we released earlier on.
We do.
Which we'll be bringing back until someone wins it, of course. And we will be bringing back the patented Dougie and Deb time machine.
Oh, I love visiting the time machine.
Tell people about the time machine.
The time machine is my favourite part of the show. So we go back and revisit a year in history and look over the events of the year, music, movies, random politics.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. So we're bringing that back as well. So loads coming up in season 2. Remember, so you don't miss an episode, follow us on all the social media outlets. Give us a like, give us a follow. And more importantly, on your podcast provider. Remember, podcasts are still a fairly new thing. We get this all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Still a fairly new thing, but they're so easy and so available wherever you get your music from. Now, whether that be YouTube, whether that be Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your music from, podcasts are readily available. Simply type in the Dougie and Deb podcast.
Yeah.
And there we will be. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. You don't have to sign up to anything. Hit the subscribe button and you will get our podcast delivered to your phone or mobile device every week.
You shall indeed. And it's just an hour of us acting really silly. And,
stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. Bit of fun. What you've heard in this podcast, but a bit more depth maybe.
Yeah.
Fuller interviews, but a lot of fun. We've got a YouTube channel as well. Check us out. We've got some silly games and challenges on there as well. Yes. But that's it. One more time, Deb, tell everyone where they can get in touch with us. We love to hear from you.
Okay, so we're on all the socials. That's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. You can find us at the Dougie and Deb podcast, or you can email us at the Dougie and Deb podcast @gmail.com.
So that's it. Thank you so much to everyone that took part in season 1, everyone that listened as well. You mean the world. Thank you so much. And we are back on the 7th of April with the start of season 2 featuring Mr. Jai McDowell.
Yay.
It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and we will see you very soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.